Okay, so the purpose of tonight's Tuesday tour is to demo for you one of the new tools that the Online Itinerant has, and it is called the Self-Advocacy IEP Bundle. This includes everything that is related to self-advocacy for your students, and it includes an assessment, IEP goals, and then actual lessons. So this is fabulous for teachers, but also for parents alike, because self-advocacy is one of those things that we really want to be building everywhere. We want it to be building at home. We want it to be building at school. It takes the village, and everybody kind of needs to partner together to build it with a child who has hearing loss. It is something that is not built naturally. It doesn't happen automatically. It has to typically be taught for a child who has hearing loss because they are unique. They have to advocate for themselves in different ways than other people do. And they maybe don't realize that they need to advocate and they don't know how to do these things. So these are things that we want to really build up and build into our kids. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about this tool and what it looks like for you through the Online Itinerant. I am going to share my screen right now. And first thing I want to do is I want to show you that we now have an app. So first thing I want to do is I want to show you what the app looks like. The app currently is for our iPhone users, okay? For iPhone users, but it is being built for Android right now. So I want you to know that you can go to your store and you can download the app, and the app is the little logo right here. See if you can see that. And you can, once you have the app, then you actually have access to a special thing called Secret Hacks for Rockstar Itinerant Teachers. You don't have to get it, but if this is something that would be helpful for you, then it is a special edition for people who have the app. And then after that, then you see that all of the other things that we have inside the Online Itinerant is actually available inside of the app. So that means all of our trainings you can listen to while you are on the road driving, and all of our different resources. You can actually be scrolling and looking at the toolbox when you are waiting between students, when you are working when you are in line at the checkout. If you're ever kind of looking for a way to quickly scroll and look at different tools and resources, it's all available from the app. So if you don't have it yet, go to your store and you want to download, you want to go to the Apple Store for now, and then you want to download the Online Itinerant app. And the Google Android app is coming soon. Fingers crossed. Okay, by the way, when I start sharing my screen, I won't be able to see the chat very much. I'll be kind of going back and forth. So if you have a question or a comment, please feel free just to use your mic and speak up and let me know that you've got a question. So here we go. When we do this, I'm actually going to be asking somebody to kind of demonstrate what this would look like for your student. So if you are a teacher and you're thinking, ooh, I would like to know how this would actually work for me, maybe you have an IEP coming up soon, then I would love for you to volunteer. We'll actually walk through it exactly how it will look for you. So this is the website, www.theonlineitinerant. And if you are a member and you get to log in, and you can stay logged in. You don't have to log in every time. You can tell that you're logged in if you have a little icon here, or if there's a little picture of a face here. And actually, as I'm looking at this right now, I think my system reset itself and it's going to show you my big library as the administrator. I might need to log back out and then log back in again. Yep, I do. I've got lots more in my account than you have in yours, just because I've got many years worth of different activities. So in any case, once you log in, you will put your name and then your account information. I've got mine set in here. Oh boy. Okay, and then you click on Remember Me, and then you're in. And this is what it looks like for you. And then you will have your little icon up here. This is how you know that you are logged in. Now, first of all, when we're talking about self-advocacy, I would love for you to know that we've got some great trainings for you inside the academy, both our parent academy and our professional academy. First, I'm going to show you the professional trainings. You go to the on-demand trainings, and we've got a number of them that is actually geared towards self-advocacy. But we also have a number of trainings that are geared towards, here we go, self-advocacy and transition. We've got some trainings on self-determination, and then on teaching transition and training student experts. Now, just a word about self-determination. This might be a word that you're familiar with. This is the desire to want to advocate, right? This is the realization that you want something, and in order to get that, you need to get your needs met. So a student who doesn't have a desire to hear what the joke is all about, they won't ask to hear that joke, or they won't learn about it. But if they do want to know it, then they will. So this self-determination is really important in building self-advocacy skills, and we've got a whole training on it. There's also some trainings on social and emotional development, and I encourage you to consider some of those trainings as well, because these are also the things that support our students in building their own self-advocacy skills, their self-identity, and in addition, that self-determination. So I would definitely like to point out creating a deaf-friendly home. This is great for you to watch with your kids, with your students. And then the impact of theory of mind is a fabulous one when you're looking at developing transition skills, self-advocacy skills, and self-determination. And really good for all of these are really just kind of good additions for you to have. So these are some great trainings that you have inside of the professional academy. Anytime you are looking at what trainings you have, up here at the top is a section called My Library. And this, every time you click on this, this will take you back to your library and everything that is in here. So if you have the Friend Academy, so this would be for parents, now teachers, any professional in the Professional Academy, you need to know that you can add all of your families to the Friend Academy for free through your membership. So what that means is they actually get a coupon for 100% off the membership. So if you're a teacher and you are in the Professional Academy, get your parents in the Friend Academy, because this allows them access to the trainings I'm going to show you in a second, but also to train to parent power hours and then the toolbox as well. So our parent trainings, we've got a number of them that also support self-advocacy and self-determination. We've got some of these that are, here we are, self-advocacy, transition. They are some of the same trainings that we have in here. And then also that impact of hearing loss theory of mind. So you can actually share, teachers, you can share with your parents, hey, I think you should watch this training. I think you would really benefit from it. And this just gives you a glimpse of a couple of those for self-advocacy. So those are the trainings that are inside the Professional Academy and the Friend Academy. So now we're going to go to the toolbox. Now would love for somebody to put in the chat if you have an IEP coming up, especially with an elementary school student, that you would like to kind of go through this process, and you can be my guinea pig. You don't need to share any names or anything like that. Just say, I've got a student. You can have an actual student in mind that you would like to walk through this. So I'm just going to give you a glimpse of what the toolbox is, and then we are going to dig into this particular tool inside the toolbox. I want you to notice there's a section called My Favorites. Now, My Favorites is anything that you add to the toolbox as your favorite. So you're not adding anything, you're just marking it as a favorite. So I put it for all the things that I'm using with students right now. So if I use this particular assessment frequently, or I'm going to use it for a student, I just star it, and then I've got it up at the top. I've got it ready for me to access. So you'll see my games, you'll see my different activities. And then when I'm done with it, when I don't need it anymore, then I just unstar it. I make it so that it's no longer my favorite. So here is the star. This is what it looks like when it's not in the favorite section. And this is what it looks like when it is in the favorite section. So you just click on your favorite thing and then it will just be highlighted up at the top for you. And this is very helpful because, as you're about to see, we have a lot of stuff in the toolbox for you. The toolbox are all different activities and resources to be able to use with kids and then to be able to support you. And you'll notice that these audit-proof IEP assessments, goal banks, and lesson plans are in the front. They're in the top for you. But in
Can
addition
I
to
ask
that,
you a question, Stephanie? Sorry.
absolutely. Hi, Christine. Yes.
As I know you've got the laptop version or the computer desktop version in front of you, and I was trying to go through the app
Okay.
and, you know, I'm looking like, let's say for under technology, and it lists all of these different things, part one, part two, part three, and then another whole file and all part one, part two under that. If if I'm clicking this as my favorite, is this whole thing my favorite? Or is there a way to make just part of it that you want to listen to sometime? You know
You're
what I
in the
mean?
train. Are you in a training right now or are you in the IEP goal bank?
Um, I'm I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm
Are you,
in,
yeah, did you click on a training? Are you looking at a training or are you looking at a
oh,
tool, one of these tools?
I'm in the I'm in the on-demand trainings.
Perfect. Yes. So whatever you click on, it will just put that part up for you. It won't put the whole training. So if that's a nice way to peg kind of like where you're at right now, and so you can click on that and then you can move on. Or if there's a certain area that you thought, oh, this is really good. I want to make sure that I save this and come back to it. Then you would save then when you star it, your favorite, it will just come to that section. It will go to that section alone.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so back to the toolbox in here. Again, our IEP audit-proof goal banks in our bundle is right here on the top. But what you will also see is you will see loads of activities and forms, assessments, and all of these are available to you at your fingertips. They're all available through the app. They're all available on your laptop or your desktop. And many of them have got downloadable papers that you can print if you like, or you can save them as well. So you'll see we've got this section is what I want to highlight for you, the self-advocacy section, which leads into the transition section. It's all related. This self-identity and the social emotional, all related. You might look at this and you might say, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. But that's where we go back to our IEP goals. So I'm going to show you this, but you're not required to use your IEP goals for this. You could just peruse it and you can you can use any of these that you want. Also, I would like to point out to you, we've got this whole section of handouts and resources. And then we do have an entire section on in-servicing materials, but also IEP info, goals, and accommodations. So you can see there is a lot of resources for you. Now, a lot of these you might be able to find on Teachers Pay Teachers, and you have to pay for them, you have to buy them, but I've purchased them for you. So you don't need to purchase them again. Anything that's in here is yours. It's part of your membership inside the Academy or as the toolbox. So as long as you're a member, you've got access to it. You don't need to buy it again. So I always say, if you are looking for something before you search Teachers Pay Teachers, come into the toolbox and come see what we have because we might have just what you need right here and it's already part of the membership. Now, a little tip, a little trick, a lot of people don't know this. Up at the top, we do have a search bar. So you can go up to the top here, get on the search bar, and you can search for something. So let's say you want to teach about captioning. So you can type in captioning, and here is a number of different resources that are available for you. And it just saves you a little bit for scrolling. So that's just a little helpful user tip for you in case you're trying to find something and you can't find it. You want to search for it under a keyword, or also the title. Okay. Does anybody have a student that you would be willing to volunteer to kind of walk through this. And just again, don't need to know the name. Just we're just going to kind of use this person as an example, and I'm going to show you how to utilize this. I'm going to highlight for you right now the Self-Advocacy IEP Bundle. And inside of here, we've got a skills checklist and lessons related to each skill. We've got our audit-proof goals, which you can copy and paste directly into your IEP. And then we've got our data collection form because we have to collect data, but this is an easy form for you to be able to use to be able to do that. So let me check our chat and see if anybody would be willing. Oh, great, Ashley. Oh, I've got Lisa and Ashley. So Lisa's got a first grade re-eval soon, and Ashley has a second grader on Friday. Oh boy, Ashley, do you already have your IEP written, or are you getting ready to assess? I shouldn't say written. Have you already assessed and you already know what your goals are going to be for your meeting on Friday?
It's a
Ah,
student who I've already seen. I already have her. She's on my caseload.
okay. Well, let's use her as our example because you know her, you kind of know have a sense of what her skills are already.
Yes.
Super. All right. So, Ashley, we're just going to have you help us with this. So we're going to start with the skills checklist and the lessons. So I click right here and you go to this section. And what I want to point out is that the self-advocacy really goes from preschool all the way up through graduation. All right, these are skills that we start working on early, and they just continue to go. We continue to build them, and we hope that they are strong and embedded by the time our student graduates. Once they get to middle school, though, it's considered more of a transition skill. So, for the purpose of this assessment, we focus on self advocacy as kind of the elementary level. And then once they get into middle school, we consider self advocacy a transition skill. So, you actually use the next assessment, you level up to the next assessment. So this has got our early and then our beginning self-advocacy skills. And then again, once you get to middle school, then you move on. It's called transition skills, but the self-advocacy is embedded into them. So that's an important thing to know. Now, you can kind of glimpse of what this looks like. And then you're going to be able to actually click exactly on a copy and you're going to be able to make your very own copy for your own student. So what you see here are the skills that we're going to look at and actually the activities that are linked with these skills. What's nice about this is that you don't have to have your own copy all the time. If you kind of know what skills you want to look at, you can come right back here and you can just click directly on the link and it will take you directly to the different activities. Okay, so but for the purpose of our demonstration here, I am going to download a copy and we are going to make our own copy. This gets to go straight to your computer. You can fill it out and it becomes your assessment. And if you need something to be able to do an assessment with your student, then excuse me, if you need an activity to be able to talk them through to be able to use it as an assessment, then the activities are here as well. Okay, so I am going to rename this and I am going to name this TS, which stands for test student. And then I'm going to put the date up here. It is the 15th of October 2024. And so I would now have this ready to be saved into my computer. So now we're broken up. This is broken up into early beginning, and then we've got beginning level. So early beginning would be generally taught like pre-kindergarten through first grade. We've got 10 skills at that level. So we've got basically 5 skills per year that we're working on. And then we've got 19 skills, second, third, fourth, and fifth grade. Again, we're looking at about 5 skills a year that we're hoping to kind of build on. So if it looks long and if it looks big, just remember, we're really kind of aiming for approximately 5 skills a year is our goal. So Ashley, I am going to ask you a question if you feel like your student is able to do these things. And if the answer is yes, we're going to check it off. And if you're say, I'm not really sure, then we're going to click on the activity and you'll be able to, we can actually look at some of these activities as we go. But your student is second grade right?
Correct.
So we're actually going to start at the next level here. We are going to start at the right here, the beginning skills. And if your student doesn't have any of these skills, then we know that we're going to start either here or we're going to go backwards. But this is, I like to start them kind of where we want them to be, is where we're going to start. So your students can they identify the cause of their hearing loss, the age of onset, and the age of identification?
I don't believe so. She might be
Okay.
able to. I don't know if she was. She is fairly new to me. I've only seen her two, like she's twice a month, and I've only seen her in September.
Okay. Perfect.
But I would say probably not.
Probably not, which is fine. Which is not uncommon, right? But I love to show this assessment to parents as well, because these are conversations that parents have with their kids too. And it's good for them to know, like, oh, I should make sure that my child knows this. Now, if you're like, I'm not sure, how would I assess this? Well, you can click on any of these activities and you will see how it is built into the activity. So all of these names are different people who have hearing loss, and they share their story. And in the story that they're sharing, they're talking about when they lost their hearing and and how it impacts them. So I am just going to click on Sean Forbes, and you can kind of get a sense of what this lesson plan is. If you're not familiar with Sean Forbes, he is the founder of what they call DPAN, the Deaf Professional Arts Network. And we've got a fun video of him. And then we've got a little lesson that we can talk through and teach. And then for every one of these activities, you've got, after you kind of go through that, you have whoops, that's the wrong one. You have the opportunity to, that's so weird. I just checked it. Here we go. So you have the opportunity to go through and there's like a worksheet and you get to click, is it both Sean? Is it Sean only, or is it Sean and you also as a student? So you learn about hearing loss. So Sean, he has a profound hearing loss, and you go and you click on either one. But each one of these activities talks through, how did he lose his hearing? And when was it identified? So it's kind of a great way to ask your student, what about you? Do you know this? And to be able to build that in for them. So we've got multiple lesson plans that look just like that. And that's built into this assessment. Okay, next, when shown a picture audiogram with a symbol key, does your student know kind of what the markings on this looks like? Right ear, left ear, all the things for the audiogram?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. And you're like, okay, so you're not going to check it. But if you want to teach it, then here are a couple activities for it to be able to teach it. And it is, again, just right here for you to be able to teach these activities. The whole thing walks through it. And here is a copy. Another one that's in here is Shayla Boo and You, which is a really cute children's book. We've got the digital version of the children's book. So you kind of see where I'm going here with this. You can see how this is going to look. I want to go back to our assessment. Okay, can the student identify the parts of the ear, including outer, middle, inner, ear canal, all the things?
No.
Right? Can the student respond appropriately to questions like, why do you have hearing aids, or why do you have an interpreter?
Yes.
Do they change their batteries, charge hearing aids? First of all, I should ask, does the student use hearing technology?
Depends on the day and which parent she's been
Okay.
at night.
Okay, so it is something we do want to work on. Some students do not use hearing technology, and if not, you just skip the whole section. All right, but does the student change batteries, charge hearing aids, and have working aids 90% of the time or more?
Yes.
Great. So if they didn't, then here are some activities that you can use to help work on that. Does the student know all the steps to clean and care for the hearing aids, including how to wash and appropriate tools and how to avoid moisture and to keep in a safe place?
She uses the Baja, so I'm not 100% sure if the previous teacher taught her anything or not on that.
Okay, well, we'll keep it unchecked because that's an easy thing for you to check and check off if she does. Can she identify when amplification devices are needed and not needed?
She, sorry, I giggle. Um, because she doesn't think she needs it, right? You know?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I
So
would say
you
that's
would,
probably a non-check one just because of that reason.
perfect. Okay. Does she manage her FM system well? Assuming she uses FM system. If she doesn't,
Yes.
we skip it. Okay. Does she hand it to the person, ask to mute? Does she do all the things?
No.
Okay. Does she independently troubleshoot devices when they're not working?
Mm, no.
Okay. So show you a couple of these I want to show. Uh, so troubleshooting hearing aids, we've actually got some handouts that you can talk through with your student. Your student can have, you can share with teachers, and you could actually walk through each step of the troubleshooting process. Okay. Do they have hearing devices that are charged and working 85% of the time or more?
I'd say yes.
Okay. Do they know parts of the hearing aid where the microphone to what's the Baja? So it's kind of an NA, right? So
Yeah.
if it's an NA or it doesn't apply, what's nice about this is you have your own copy. So for me, when I'm working with a student that it doesn't apply to, I actually go through and I actually cross that. I go through here and I strike through the whole thing. So I know, oh, I don't even need to look at that. Okay. Do they know, does she know parts of the FM receiver, microphone, and explain the basics of how it works?
Um, Probably not. I mean, she knows it's a
Okay.
microphone, mini mic, but it's pretty basic. But
Okay.
probably not.
So I forgot to mark how we're doing on these. We've got one, two, so 3 out of 8, well, 3 out of actually 7 possible because we deleted one. Okay, which is actually right where we're going to want her to be because she's second grade. So so in the beginning we're starting her off at a right where the kind of the beginning of this of where we're at. So I forgot to mark this right here. This is 1 out of 4. Okay, and then we're going to move on to beginning amplification and management communication repair. Can she identify the best seating for best access in the classroom? So
Uh,
she knows when to sit to have a clear view of the speaker,
yeah,
knows
I'd
how to
say
go
yeah.
away from distractions. Great. And can she identify 3 advantages of wearing amplification or using an interpreter?
Probably not 3.
Okay. So by the way, this is I'm going to show you one of these tools in here. This one is called Navigating School with the Hearing Loss. This one is a online itinerant exclusive. You can only get it here, but it is based on, if you're familiar with the life assessment, are you familiar with that one where you see all the different scenarios in school and a child says, yes, this is a difficult listening situation, or no, this is not a difficult listening situation. If you're familiar with that, it takes that and it moves it up to the next level. So it's a social story, and you meet Sam, and you get to know him. He's a student with hearing aids, and it walks through all of these different environments for him. So, like, it starts off, the first one is he's in the classroom, it's quiet, everything is great until the teacher faces the board. And then he misses what the teacher's saying. His teacher uses a Google slideshow, but he misses what he's saying. So then it stops and it asks the student, how about for you? Is this something that's difficult for you? So you go through that discussion. And then you say, all right, so if it's difficult, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to fix it? So this is where it moves it to the next level. So you're actually role playing with your student. What would they do if that was the case? Um, and then after you talk about it and you role play it with your student, then you hear how Sam does it. And maybe it's the same and maybe it's different. In this particular example, Sam asks the teacher to use the captions on the Google Slides because it's already embedded. And so it's built into this, and you can actually now build that into your lesson if you know how to do that, or you can Google it and you can learn. So it goes through each one of these scenarios, the teacher moving around the classroom. Then it tells you how what Sam did for it, following instructions in a class like art class. And so then you role play it. And then what he did is he asked her to write the instructions down or repeat it. Then you've got dealing with noise. So you've got science class, papers are rustling and it's just noisy. Again, rate the difficulty. What are you going to do? And this is based really towards elementary, middle school, but I've actually used it with my high school students. I just kind of modify the conversation, and I've used it with young kids too. Again, I modify it. I say, these kids are sitting in big kid desks, but you would sit at a table. Like, tell me about that. And so I just changed the conversation. So for this one, he moves to a different place in the room. So in any case, this is a really great, fun tool, and it is a great way you can download it and print it and have it be a social story for yourself.
Stephanie,
This isn't,
where did you find that again? I know it was in the goal bank. What goal was it?
yeah. Well,
I
it
know
is
I'm not gonna be able to find it.
it's in the toolbox. So thank you for asking that question. I'm going to show you both. It's in a lot. It's called Navigating School with Hearing Loss, and it's
Okay.
lots of goals. It covers lots of goals because we look for our students to do this. So let me just go back to the toolbox so you can see where it is in here. And notice what I'm doing. I'm back in my account. I'm going to click on my teaching toolbox. And once you get to my teaching toolbox, you'll want to tag that one as a favorite because it's so useful and handy. But you're going to go down to self-advocacy. So this is under self-advocacy, and it looks like this. It's in the self-advocacy section, navigating life with hearing loss. There's lots of role-playing situations inside the toolbox. And each one of these is embedded and shown into our IEP goals. But if you don't want to have to look through the IEP goals and you just want to be able to scroll the toolbox, then that you can absolutely do that. So, whoops, did I lose my assessment here? Gotta open it back up here. Okay, so here we go. What I think I want to do for the purpose of time is that once you get through all of these, and she didn't have too many more, we just had this one more section. The next section is, this is the beginning environmental management and communication repair. So actually I take it back. That's the last section. So you go through and you count up how many we've got, each one of these. And then you can see. So I think she had one in understanding hearing loss. I think she had one over here. Here, let's pretend she's got 3. So we know that we've got 4 out of 18 total. So you figure out your percentage there, and that gives you our baseline. So remember, we're really looking on 5 skills per year. So if we could go up to 9, right? So for our IEP, we would go up to 9. So if we're past 5th grade, then we want to go to the transition skills, but we're not. She's 2nd grade. So now we're going to go to the Audit-Proof IEP goals. And we know that we want her to get 9 skills. And we click on the Audit-Proof IEP goals. And here they are. The purpose of this is to copy and paste them into your goals. So we know that here's our overall goal. All right. The top goal is this big one. And then we've got all of the objectives. Now, people say, oh my gosh, look at all of the objectives under here. I only need 2 objectives. That's fine. But these are kind of the skills that we're looking on. Some schools want every objective I outlined. They want everything. Some schools don't even need an objective. They just need the goal. So it's really designed for you to have your flexibility to meet your needs. So she was at the beginning skills level. So here is the goal that you are going to copy and paste into your IEP. You're going to take this within sessions with sessions with the DHH professional and within the classroom environment. And then you would put student's name. So I'm just going to go TS, right? Test student is going to advance from knowing. We know that student knew 4, right? She had 4 skills at the beginning level to knowing we want her to know 9, right? We want her to know 9 skills with 80% accuracy based on the self-advocacy and data collection. So Now, if you need some objectives, then you can choose a couple of these objectives. Or you can just say, if you need an objective, then you can say, student will use beginning understanding skill. You can kind of list what these skills might look like, but you can just absolutely copy and paste them right into your goal. Just modify the date, modify the student, anything that's bolded, you modify. And that is what that looks like. Now, I will show you the data collection sheet. Go back to your toolbox. So once you've got your goals and now you've got them in your IEP and you want to collect data, you can keep this digitally or you can print it, whatever works for you. But you would make a copy of your own data collection sheet. But what's in here is that you've got the twice a year. This is how often you're going to look for it. And here is your skills that you're going to want. And you check yes or no, did they have it? So we want to be checking it at least twice a year, which is also embedded into these the objectives. So you've got each one of these objectives kind of outlined for you. And there you go. That is your data collection sheet. You can do it again digitally, or you can copy it, print it, and keep it in your file folder with your student. So now I know you might have some questions. So let me go ahead and stop my share and let me take a peek at our questions. Okay, Donna's commented that she doesn't have a membership yet. Is the annual subscription based off of the US school year or calendar year, or just 12 months from the purchase date? That is a great question. It is for 12 months from your purchase date. And here's why. Some people say, oh, I don't think I'm going to need it in the summertime. But I promise you, people love the resources during the summertime because it's your time to catch up, right? A lot of people are planning for the school year. They're doing trainings. They're kind of like checking things out. So you've got full access to it for 12 months from your start date. We do also do purchase orders, like a number of school districts do purchase for their school. And the schools sometimes say, well, what if I have a new teacher that moves in after the 12 months or, at the beginning of the school year? And if it's purchased through the school district, then we just change that membership to whoever the new person is. So Ginny said, 5 new skills for the IEP school year. Why did you put 9 skills in my example? Because they started with 4. So they started with 4 and we figure we want to grow maybe 5 skills per year. Yep. Now, this is up to you too. Like if you feel like, well, I would be happy if we got 2 skills, right? Or maybe you see the student, maybe you see them more often and you feel like, I think we can book it through this a little bit more quickly. So that's up to you. Just what is recommended is approximately 5 per year. Now, when you open, the same thing goes through transition. It's the exact same process. We've got the assessments, we've got all the skills, but when it comes to transition, you're working on self-advocacy. You're also working on, you all go all the way up to different understanding of the laws. You go into career choices. You go into understanding what your accessibility options are at college. So we're looking at 5 to 7 skills per year once you hit 5th grade and up, right? So 5 skills. We're looking 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Well, we've got 8. It's basically 8 years worth of IEP goals for you in that just that transition section. And I have a lot of people that say, well, gosh, my school, they think my student needs to go on a 504 plan, and I don't have any way to document that we should keep working with my student. This is a fabulous way to document these skills that are needed and the value of having this time with students. And it's also if you're not the person, right? So I've got some parents on here. So parents, these are really important skills and things for you to be aware of that we want your child to know and to master. And you can share this list with other people as well. So you can share it with parents, you can share it with a special ed teacher. And if you've got the links in there, if you've got a membership to the academy, then you still you have the teaching tools to be able to work with a student with them. So I see that there is another question. What do you recommend for middle school students who don't want to wear their hearing aids or acknowledge that they need help? Yes, that is not alone. And I am really glad that you asked that, because the tools in the toolbox are really they're really geared towards kids that are like that, because that's every kid, right? Especially middle school age. Middle school age. It's a hard thing. Kids want to be normal. And if it doesn't feel normal, it feels uncomfortable. So that's where we go back to the self-determination trainings, which you can show your student, but also inside the next toolbox that's coming out, or the next tool that's coming out, is called self-identity. And that is in process. We're working on that, but you've got all the tools for it. It's also embedded in the self-advocacy. All of those lessons about the other people that I told you about, I think we've got more than 20 different people. And it talks about them, right? So it talks about them. And I noticed that students prefer that. They want the attention off of themselves, and they like to learn about other people. So that's where we build in this. Is this like you, or is this not? Do you have this in common with this person, or do you not? And what I notice is that it slowly helps them. It makes it feel a little bit more normal, feel a little bit more acceptable. Like, oh, these are role models. Look at these people. And I recommend not being the hearing aid police. I think so often we're chasing down our students. Wear your FM, put your mic on. You didn't do this. So where's your hearing aids? Are you what? Go get your hearing aids, and we kind of become the hearing aid police. And that's actually not effective, right? What we know is that building the conversation, that's why that goal was student can I understand when it's the benefits of wearing their hearing technology and the consequences of not. So can we have those conversations with them? Like, hey, how's it going? Oh, I notice you're not wearing your hearing technology. Let's talk about that. And you actually have the lessons embedded into here for that, to be able to talk about it. But what other questions do you have about the toolbox, membership, tools, anything that you're looking for, any activities you wish were in there? Yep, and Lisa is agreeing. She says the students need to buy in to be motivated. They do. They do. And middle school is that stage, right? Middle school is that stage where kids kind of they want to balk, right? But they often come back in high school. And what we want to do is we want to nurture this journey for them. We don't want them to resent it more, right? We don't want them to resent us. We want them to feel like we understand, like we get it, and we're going to walk alongside of them. Oh, good. Christine's asking about the audiogram teaching tool. Yes, yes, yes. Let me just show you a couple audiogram teaching tools. I am going to go again, reminder, go to your teaching toolbox. And inside, it's under self-advocacy. We've got a number of them. Okay, so we've got what's my hearing loss is very specific towards teaching the audiogram. So this actually, you get your audiogram and you look at it. So you talk about what kind of hearing loss your student has, and it goes through some of this terminology and the different areas. And then it's interactive, so they can type it in, reads the audiograms. You can create your own audiogram, talks about the audiologist, embeds that into them, talks about how your hearing is tested. So it teaches all of these skills, teaches the different types of technology. Okay. So that is one lesson. Getting kids ready to go to the audiologist. We've got some activities This doesn't teach the audiogram, but I just want to show you because it's kind of a cute activity. Again, this is an Online Itinerant exclusive. So there are some words that we teach with this, and you can, there's a couple activities for this. So this is, we're going to click on the item, and you're going to learn what the word is. You're going to learn the vocabulary. So we've got what is an audiogram. So we've got what is an audiologist. So we go through these different terms. Then when you go through and you finish with that, we come back and we've got a little memory game that they match the words and you build in some of that vocabulary. Now that's not teaching your audiogram, but it does kind of really great for little kids and younger kids and just kind of building some of that awareness of what to expect at the audiologist. And then the other activity that I want to make sure that you know, Shayla Boo talks about going to the audiologist. It talks about her audiogram. It builds that in. And then where is the other? I've got some other activities. I forgot where I was going to show you with this. Oh, here it is. For older kids, right? For older kids, there's a goal that says our students know the difference between an audiologist, a hearing aid dealer, and a hearing aid dispenser. They need to know, before they graduate, they need to know the differences between who these people are. They need to know, like what is Miracle Ear, right? And is that device it's a lot less expensive than the one at the audiologist? Is it the same thing? So we actually have some activities to be able to teach this and explain it. And it's discussion and it's exploring the different roles. And then we also have these activities that help students kind of understand who's who on their care team. So we've got the ENT, the clinical audiologist, the educational audiologist. So it gives you the chance to build this into your students. So once they know their audiogram, there's still more to teach them. But that is a couple of those tools. All right, let me see. We've got a couple other texts. How much is available in the membership resources for deaf plus kids, nonverbal kids? Oh, Christine's saying Miracle Ear is more expensive. I love it. Okay, so activities for deaf plus kids, nonverbal type kids. It depends on what first of all, we've got some trainings. First of all, there's a number of trainings that's in the Professional Academy that kind of supports that. We have some trainings that are coming inside our monthly meetups. So every month, the first Thursday of the month is our monthly meetup. So something to know, this year, T days are TOI days, the Online Itinerant, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Every Tuesday, I do a tour of the toolbox. So you can come back and you can visit and you can ask questions and you can see it more and more. Thursdays are our member nights. So this is the first Thursday is a live training. The second Thursday is a professional power hour. The third Thursday is our parent power hour. So April, hope you can make it to our parent power hour this year. And then the fourth Thursday is a second professional power hour. So this live training that we had one on Usher syndrome. We are going to have one on pro-tactile sign language. And we also are going to have one on AAC devices and deaf students. So these are going to be some great trainings to support you in meeting those needs. In terms of activities, it really depends on what you're looking for. And I've got a number of language activities that are really great for building language, that are like wordless pictures, that are building language, building sign, building expression. We've got lots of, if you kids can write or can point to pictures, we've got a number of those activities. So I would have to kind of chat with you and kind of get a sense of what your students' needs are. And then I could point you to some of those tools. And that's the exact type thing that we do in our power hours. So if you've got a specific student, a specific challenge that you're like, ooh, I would really like to talk through this. We talk with the other people in the community who also have students who can give you some support and ideas. And then we look into the tools that we have available in the toolbox. So at this time, I just want to really honor your time. If you are not a member, I want to encourage you to stick around and ask questions. Let me stop our recording And if you are a member, we'll go ahead and put any last questions in the chat box. But if you don't have any other